Hey G-Fans, GojiFan93 here, and welcome back to day 3 of the Godzilla-thon 2014. Today we will be taking a look at King Kong vs. Godzilla. Now, I have this film on the Blu-ray that was just recently released, and I also have a standard version. These are exactly the same. Sadly, none of these have the Japanese versions, and I haven't seen the Japanese version yet, so I will be reviewing this based upon the American version that I have seen. So, well, this is pretty much I would say it's a fun movie. I mean, the fact that we get to see King Kong and Godzilla fight each other is just like the best. I mean, it's like America versus Japan right there. And what's really cool is the storyline that kind of goes into the film. So I just want to start by talking about a little bit of the story elements. I would say that the beginning of the story is a little bit boring, especially the American version. Like I said, I haven't seen the Japanese version, so I don't really know how it begins in that one, because I've heard that the Japanese version is completely different from the American version, so I don't know what the differences are. Like I said, I'm basing this review off the American version, so anyway, so like I said, the beginning of the film is kind of boring, but they introduced that Godzilla is still trapped in ice, so I'm going with that this is a sequel to Godzilla Raids Again, obviously. But it's weird because in the film, they never mention the previous two films. I mean, they make it, and like the two guys that there are these two guys, American actors that they talk throughout the film. Once again, kind of a bunch of exposition crap, because Americans just can't understand this stuff. And they talk about, like, they think they know so much about Godzilla. Like, they say that Godzilla's brain is the size of this, and then King Kong's brain is like this big, and it's just like, no, it's not. But so it's just a lot of boring talk. And like I said, they don't seem to refer to the previous two films. I mean, it seems as though they haven't, like, this is the first Godzilla or something like that. It's really weird. I don't know, but that's just the way I read it. But once Godzilla does escape from his ice trap or whatever, all hell breaks loose. Godzilla's just on a rampage. I think the city he was going to is Hokkaido. I believe that's what it is. And he just goes through. He fights the military. It's awesome. He goes on it's just a rampage and everywhere. And then on the other side we have this basically the main cast, and these guys, I really like the cast of this movie. They're really likable, they're really funny, they're enjoyable to watch, and even the English dubbing on them, it's not actually that bad. It's still funny. Like the one scene where the brother and sister and the sister's boyfriend are having dinner, and the guy talks about he made this like string, which this string will actually, it's kind of foreshadowing because this string plays a part later in the movie, but he makes like this really very strong, tough string or fiber wire or whatever, and what he does is he shows off his girlfriend's brother, and he's like hanging off the window, and he's going like, look at this, and the guy's like, no, get down, stop that, and it's just, I thought it was really funny. But they work for a guy who's like a movie, or no, like a TV show producer or something like that, and he sees that their ratings are tanking, that they're not making what they need to, so he wants to, for some reason, because I guess Godzilla's here or something, he wants a monster. So he's like, give me a monster. I don't care what it is. Just get me a monster. So they have the whole adventure that they have to go to this island that, obviously has a bunch of the natives that refer to King Kong as, the god and all that stuff. They're basically doing a homage to the original King Kong, where you have the visitors coming on, and then the natives come over and try to attack him and whatever. But the difference with this one is that instead of taking the new people, having a blonde woman be taken as a sacrifice and King Kong falls in love, it actually turns out that the new people have a translator with them, and what he does is he goes to the natives and he's like, look, we're here on business. I don't actually really remember what they were talking about, because the whole scene's, it's just funny the way they do it. So what they do is, in order for them to stay on the island, because the chief guy, the boss guy, he doesn't want them. He says, leave our island right now. But they're like, look. So the main character brings up like this radio or something, and he's like, look, it's magic. And he presses the button, and all of a sudden it starts playing music, and all the native guys are just going like, what? Oh my god, it's amazing. And then they start partying or whatever. They start giving them smokes. What's really funny is that they're like, it's a smoke, you smoke it, and all that stuff. And then there's like a little kid that's right next to him, and the kid's like, I want to smoke, and the guy's, oh, your mom's not going to be happy. All of a sudden the mom comes up and snags the smoke right in front, and she just walks away. It's really funny. Anyways, so we get done with all that. King Kong has his first appearance where he fights like a giant squid. What's really funny, if you guys watch it, right at the beginning of the battle, before the squid even attacks King Kong, the squid makes a Godzilla roar. It's really weird. You got to hear it. It's quick, but it's just weird. That's something that I noticed. Anyways, yeah, so he fights the squid, kicks his ass, and obviously the native guys are like, oh my god, what are we going to do? He's like right there. So they feed him this juice, some berry juice. I don't remember exactly what it was called. And I guess when he drinks it and they play music along with it, King Kong falls asleep. Now what they decide to do is the main characters, they decide to take advantage of this, and they take King Kong, bring him back to Japan. But the issue is that we already have a giant monster in Japan, and we don't need another one. So they get, the police come to their boat, and they're like, hey, are you guys in charge of King Kong? Well, no, you're not going to be able to do this. You got to take him back. Sorry. And the TV producer's going like, oh my god. So what they end up doing is that King Kong actually starts to wake up, and he's like, he's like strapped to this kind of makeshift boat thing or whatever, a raft or something like that, and he starts to wake up. So what they end up doing is they just end up cutting him from the boat, and he just, there. So now all of a sudden you got two monsters that are running through Tokyo. And the thing is what the two American actors that are in like this weird TV studio or whatever, they're saying that these two are rivals, and they're wanting to find each other. So Godzilla's trying to find King Kong, King Kong's trying to find Godzilla. And then we have the first fight, which is pretty funny. King Kong doesn't even stand a chance for this fight. He just walks up, and he's like, "Argh!" And all of a sudden Godzilla just shoots fire, and King Kong's like, screw this, and he just leaves. And then Godzilla's just like, and Godzilla does this weird thing where he does like this like clapping thing. It's really weird. He just like, it's weird. I don't know why he does that. So just more stuff happens, and it gets to the last final battle, which is awesome. This is one of my favorite Godzilla battles, where King Kong just totally, King Kong actually outsmarts Godzilla in a lot of ways. But the thing ends up happening, like King Kong gets his head knocked, he gets knocked out or whatever. Then lightning shoots down, and he gets power, and then he starts like shocking Godzilla and stuff. I feel like it's a little bit unfair, but Godzilla has the atomic breath, so I guess it kind of balances it out. But so yeah, I mean, overall it's a very enjoyable movie. Once again, I really wish I could see the Japanese version. I just don't know where to look for it. I mean, I know that I could probably go on eBay and find like a bootleg of the Japanese version, but I'd rather just watch it for free, because I don't feel like paying for a bootleg, even though I do have a couple bootlegs. But those were mistakes. I didn't know that those were bootlegs back in the day. I was little, so I didn't know. But anyways, also the music is not as memorable as the other films. I mean, you have your, I think there were a couple of Akira Ifukube tracks in this, but it was mostly some other new music. I think it was also because of the American edit. I think the American edit put some American music in it and kind of messed it up that way, but whatever. So yeah, but I mean, overall, it's a really good movie. It's fun. It's classic Godzilla at its best, and the Godzilla suit itself is awesome. I love the 62 suit. It's not one of my all-time favorites of the show, but it's definitely a good looking suit. Godzilla looks very ferocious, and I mean, the 64 suit looked better than this one, but for 62 it was still really good. So yeah, but that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I know I kind of talked really fast, but that's because I'm actually running out of time. I gotta do some stuff today, so I'm actually like, I mean, doing these reviews every day is kind of, I didn't think it through, pretty much, but, so I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for, I believe, Mothra vs. Godzilla, and, yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later. Stay big, G-fans.